All I have to say is, wow, what a movie. A fading celebrity decides to use a black market drug, a cell replicating substance that temporarily creates a younger, better version of herself. The film stars Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, and Dennis Quaid, and was directed by Coralie Fargeat, and I've seen one of her films before, and that film is called Revenge. So I saw a trailer for The Substance one time, and the only thing I really knew is there is this substance that obviously was involved, and I didn't really know much else about this movie. I knew that Margaret Qualley was in this movie, and Dennis Quaid, and that's really all I really knew going into this film. I did think it was going to be very artsy. Definitely by the trailer, it gave that vibe off. So I was definitely looking for something really wild and crazy. And that's exactly what I got with this film. And we'll start off with the story. So you have Demi Moore here, who's playing a character named Elizabeth Sparkle. She has this fitness show in which she has a weekly taping of this. And she's very famous for this. She's very successful. She's rich. She lives in this high-rise apartment, and she has a very nice apartment that is very spacious, and she's very successful. And one day she has Dennis Quaid, who is the executive of the show, basically writes her off and says, hey, you're too old, we don't need you anymore. And she suddenly starts to doubt herself. Now, that theme really goes into Hollywood as well, because how many times have you seen your favorite actor or actress, as they get older, their roles start to diminish? They start to get roles that are a lot smaller, they don't get big roles anymore, and then certain actresses that are very much younger and prettier, they get all these type of main roles. So that's kind of what this film really does dive into. And what's really interesting is with Demi Moore's character here, she needs to be younger and she needs to figure out what she's going to actually do. So she ends up getting this black market drug called The Substance, in which she signs up for it. And so she injects herself with this stuff, and she has this younger self of her, in which she is now going to be obviously more successful. Margaret Qualley plays that younger self, in which she is now going to be successful, taking on this new show in which it has a dance routine, in which Dennis Quaid is really struck by her. And the fact that they obviously got rid of Demi Moore's character doing this yoga instruction or fitness instructor, or whatever you really want to call her, they then have this younger girl, Margaret Qualley. She's the next best thing, which obviously relates a lot to Hollywood, as I'm mentioning here. Now, with this film, I will say that there's nothing bad about this film. I absolutely loved it. It was a blast. I'll start off with all the things that I love about this film, and that really is going into the acting itself. Demi Moore plays a very good performance here. She obviously plays an older lady here. Obviously, she is just taken back at the fact that she is successful, and now no one really wants her around now that she apparently is over the hill to do this programming. Margaret Qualley, she is asked to do a lot here, and I did read that she was very uncomfortable doing the dance routines in this, because this is a very sexy film in which she's wearing kind of revealing outfits here. At one point, they actually put a prosthetic bodysuit on her to make her boobs actually bigger, and you really can't tell that, to be honest with you. So that was really cool, and really props to the prosthetics team. And also the makeup here is done really well, especially within the second and third act, when a lot of things are going haywire and going off the wall. The makeup and the design of that makeup and just certain things, without going into spoilers, is absolutely done well. It is just so done well, and it's so creative, and it's so out there that I absolutely enjoyed it. Also, the colorization in this film is very interesting. Demi Moore wears this jacket that's yellow. There's also a scene, obviously, where they go into the studio and it's all orange. And then there's other colors in here that just really stick out, and just central themes of colors throughout this film. Like with Margaret Qualley, she wears an outfit that's pink, in which a lot of times in here, there's a lot of sexy scenes in here. There's a lot of nudity in here, and there's a lot of body horror in here. here. So there's a lot of blood. There's a lot of moments in here where you may cringe a little bit if you don't like that kind of squirmy kind of stuff. And there's a lot of things in here that just make you kind of gasp a little bit, especially within that third act. This film, it goes really off the rails. It goes berserk and bonkers, and nothing will prepare you for the last 20 minutes of this film because it was an absolute blast. I think the main thing that really made me laugh as I'm actually exiting the theater watching this film, and just the fact that my audience was mainly senior citizens, and then I had a little bit older couples as well, and absolutely everybody hated this film in my theater. I'm listening to them just complain about how stupid the film was, and then a couple other people said they wasted their money, and that was just the most funniest part to me, mainly because I kind of knew when I saw these senior citizens that this film was going to be bonkers. And this film, it really is very much not for someone that really doesn't watch a lot of movies, or if you don't watch a lot of artsy stuff, you may not like this film. And it really asks a lot of you. But I also think because it really does go kind of berserk, I think that it does a really good job of keeping you engaged. It's a 2 hour and 20-minute film, and I didn't feel the runtime at all. There's always something going on in this film, and it's just very interesting how it really unfolds. The movie is so dark, and I really have to give also shout out to the sound department here and the way that they captured filming here, because there's certain scenes in here that they just go all the way here. They don't leave any stone unturned here, in which they just show you anything and everything. This is definitely a full-on body horror film. Like I said, if you get disgusted with certain little things, you may want to avoid this film. But there's just certain little scenes that really stood out to me. Like there's one scene where they actually zoom the camera into Dennis Quaid, and he's having this dinner with Demi Moore, and he's eating the shrimp, and they're sitting there just showing him kind of crunched down on shrimp and how he's eating really disgustingly. And there's just certain things in this film, just how they get really graphic, because there is a lot of graphic nature to this. Obviously, I said there's a lot of blood in this film, and they just go for it. They don't hold anything back in this film, and the third act is absolutely so bonkers that I actually was laughing and having such a good time with it, because just like I said, there's nothing that can prepare you for that last 15 to 20 minutes, and just the way that just the body really just kind of operates in that certain aspect, and just the way that they really just decided to really go the route they did. I mean, I never would have guessed it. And I think that's kind of the thing that I was wondering as this film was going along, and things were getting darker and worse, and just things were really just flying off the rails. And it's just very interesting to see like how both these women here, how this whole really thing just shapes out. So it was just very interesting to watch. So as far as the score for me, I would give it a 5 out of 5. There's nothing bad about this film. I had a blast with it. I would honestly go see this again at the theater if I had time. I would check out this film again. And if you can, definitely go check it out with a bigger audience if you can, because the reactions for this film, there's definitely going to be lots of reactions. There's going to be people like me that absolutely love it, and then there's going to be people that absolutely hate it and just don't get it. And I think also too, with certain people that I've read their reviews or watched their reviews that didn't like it, it seems mainly so on the themes that it presents, because that's what I've kind of read, is the themes don't necessarily hit for everybody, and I completely understand that. Then obviously if you don't really like body horror, it may not hit as much. So those are my thoughts on The Substance. What did you guys think about this film? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you just think it was kind of meh? And if you haven't checked it out yet, are you going to check it out when it comes to VOD or streaming? Thank you guys for watching as always, and I will see you guys next time.